Borger police say they were called out to the 900 block of Nelson Street at approximately 6:30 p.m. on a family disturbance call that soon turned deadly. The project manager tells me Montego Bay terminated his contract just last week and that some of his subcontractors haven't been paid for more than 2 months. Reporting live in Clovis, New Mexico, Marissa Lucero, Pro News 7. What was once an empty field of rundown apartments is now becoming a complex of homes for disabled veterans. Now only 500 copies remain of this issue of the C&M Chronicle, but good luck finding one on campus. Now this is one of the locations Aguilera stops by every Sunday, but food isn't the only thing she's giving away. Larry, the family says it's not about the money, it's about keeping promises, and 10% of the proceeds is something they say was promised to them. Baby Harley is a happy, healthy 9-month baby.
I'm not going to give her any smile.
4 months ago, that wasn't the case.
We went to Houston for a doctor's appointment and got admitted into the hospital.
In October, Jared and Jennifer Green noticed their son's skin was turning yellow. They took him in to see his pediatrician, who said his liver enzyme count was too high. 2 weeks after being admitted to a hospital in Houston, baby Harley had a liver transplant. Back home in Amarillo, friends and family knew the couple wasn't working, so they got in touch with Texas Roadhouse to plan a benefit dinner. The benefit was held on November 18th, and the Greens heard from family it was a success.
After the benefit, they said that it should take 4 to 6 weeks to get a check, and we didn't get one 4 to 6 weeks.
Jared contacted the restaurant in January to see if there was some kind of delay.
When he called me, he said that it was less than legendary turnout, so they were going to send us tickets to get a free meal.
The couple says they weren't angry, but say they were never told a certain amount of people must show up or that the restaurant had to hit a minimum of $5,000 in order to receive 10% of the profit.
We're expecting if, you say you're going to do something for someone that you follow through, and it was a disappointment whenever we were told that it wasn't going to happen.
Within weeks, Jared says the restaurant acquired a new manager. That's when he learned the restaurant in fact made nearly $8,400 that night and that the family would receive what was promised.
We didn't, expect it, but, if somebody says, hey, we're going to send you some money, we were hoping it would help out.
Larry Wolfkale was a math recovery teacher for Amarillo ISD. She says her Facebook post was meant to inspire educational leaders to do something about standardized testing and that it wasn't meant to offend any one person.
I'm taking a stand for the students.
Kay Donna Wolfkale says she won't be silenced on the topic of standardized testing.
I've been speaking out against the testing system for a long time. Everybody says, you go girl, you're awesome, keep it up. But I'm the only one going, and our kids are being hurt every day.
Thursday, Wolfkale took her frustration to social media, posting complaints she says she hears from students about standardized testing every day. She says most of them were from her own children, some were from students at school, and others were from family friends. One comment came from a 5th grade student who says they feel dumb at school and scared they won't pass the test again. Another says asking a teacher for help only makes them feel like they're letting their class down. We spoke to Marty Raleigh, who serves on the Texas Board of Education. He says although the state has decreased the number of standardized testing in its schools, it's still one of the only ways to monitor students' year-to-year progress.
One of the problems of standardized tests is that they do drive a lot of what we teach in the classrooms, and that's a concern that I have, and I think a concern that other folks involved in education have as well.
Wolfkale says she was approached by the elementary school principal and asked to remove the post because it violated school district policy.
I finally came to a point in the conversation, and I said, you know what, I'm going to resign from my position effective immediately because I'm not going to be silenced about this issue. Children should not be hurt. Children should feel good about going to school. Children should feel good about who they are.
We reached out to Amarillo ISD, who referred us to their policies concerning social networks, though Wolfkale says she didn't break any policy because she never named any students. Larry, back to you. What was once the creation for a group of researchers in South Africa is now the highlight project for a group of students at WT. Dr. Emily Hunt, the director of the School of Engineering and Computer Sciences, says her students took the original model and redesigned it to fit a child.
Our students are interested in projects where they see a connection between what they're doing in engineering and how that's helping people.
For her students, that connection was Dr. Hunt's daughter, Allie. Allie was born with what doctors call symbrachydactyly. According to Dr. Hunt, it's the most common hand difference among children.
Scientifically, it's not fully developed, but that's how God made me.
Doctors at Texas Scottish Rite Hospital approached Dr. Hunt with the idea of redesigning the model. She then passed it along to her students. It took a full semester of research.
It's got a lot of everything involved in it. The modeling and the 3D printing is stuff we already knew about, but to use it towards actually helping someone out and helping them with something that they need, something that's going to benefit their lives. It's a little bit different in that way.
You learned your mistakes as you went, but for us, we didn't know what exactly was wrong until we printed the hand, and so then you'd have to go all the way back to the beginning instead of only going back a couple steps. So that was probably our biggest setback.
And when it came to making some of those major changes, Allie was right there to give a suggestion or two.
I thought it was like kind of big and bulky, and it took up my entire forearm, and it was just white and blue, and it just didn't really look good to me.
Dr. Hunt says the design is something that can be taken even further to help children worldwide.
The idea is that not that we replace their hand, but that we are giving them a tool to use, a helper hand.